Hi everyone, Angela here. To use up some of your leftover ribbon, first cut a piece about 5 inches long. If you'd like to add a contrasting ribbon, cut a piece half an inch shorter. Next, cut all the ends on a slight angle. Center the shorter one on top and hold together. Center a 2-inch paper clip under the ribbon with the double curves at the bottom. While holding everything securely, thread the ends from one side through the paper clip and pull outwards. Hold that in place and repeat for the other side. Hold the ends evenly and securely and pull down on the paper clip until the center is nice and tight. Adjust the ends if you need to so it's nice and neat, and then turn over to the back. Use a double-threaded needle to sew the center of the ribbon, looping around the paper clip to secure it tightly in place. Make sure you're only catching the backs of the ribbon and then make a couple of knots to finish. You can also skip the hand stitching and just use hot glue to secure the back. You now have a pretty bookmark that only takes about 2 minutes to make and also makes a great gift to include with a book. Here I have some fold-over elastic to use up. It's nice and soft and shiny on the front. Wrap the elastic around a journal cover, hold securely, and cut to size. Fold the elastic in half with right sides together. Match the ends and stitch together using a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, backstitching at each end. Trim the threads and press the seam open with your fingers. If you want, use a scrap piece of fabric as a starter to prevent bird nesting. To keep the seam flat, edge stitch on either side of the seam. Start with the back stitch, stitch to the other side, pivot around, and backstitch to finish. Trim all the threads and carefully trim the ends of the elastic. Use another piece to wrap around the elastic with right sides together. Have this edge extending out about 1/4 of an inch and then stitch together right beside the edge of the elastic. Be sure to catch each end when backstitching. Trim all the threads and the elastic, then repeat, sewing another loop. Turn the 2 small loops over, right side out. Turn over and adjust the loops so that the seams are centered on the back. Also have the seams open flat on the inside. Next, we'll slide this loop over to cover this seam. Make sure it's perfectly centered to cover the raw edges. Then turn over, pin in the middle to hold in place. Lift the top edge of the loop out of the way and then stitch the elastic and the bottom of the loop together. Just sew a few stitches back and forth in the center. Now repeat on the other side. Space the loops about 1.5 inches apart, measuring from edge to edge, and then stitch the second loop the same way as the first one. Carefully trim all the threads, and it should look like this on the back. This is a quick, handy project that makes a great gift, and it takes less than 5 minutes to make. Also, that second loop keeps the pen from dangling around, holding it securely in place. This is Heat and Bond iron-on adhesive. It's paper on one side and glue on the other. I'll leave a link for this down in the description. Cut a piece of this adhesive slightly smaller than a scrap piece of white fabric. I'm just using this piece of printed white fabric so you can see the wrong side. Have the white fabric wrong side up and place the Heat and Bond on top with the glue side down. Press together without using steam. From this scrap piece of fabric, I want to feature this mushroom and this mushroom. Cut small rectangles slightly bigger than you need. Place the wrong side of the fabric onto the glue side of the heat and bond and cut out the same size. Again, press together without steam. Trim down to perfect rectangles. You can also apply a larger piece of adhesive to the fabric first and then cut out the pieces, but I find this method works better when fussy cutting specific parts of a fabric print. There's also less wastage of the adhesive. By trimming it, I know the adhesive is perfectly in line with the edge of the fabric. Peel away the paper backing and place it onto the right side of the white fabric. Leave space all around and press together. Use pinking shears to trim around the white fabric. Trim, leaving a small white border, and line up the blade as best you can, leaving a square edge at each corner. If you're finding this video helpful, make sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on all notifications, and leave a comment below. As always, I'd love to know where you're watching from. You can also support the channel by becoming a member or tapping the thanks button below this video. Trim any corners that need straightening. You now have cute little fabric stamps ready to be attached to your next project. You just need to peel away the paper backing. After pressing it onto your project, you can also edge stitch around the inner fabric piece to secure it in place. Be sure to check out some of my other sewing tutorials. Thanks again for watching. Take care and happy sewing.